Embrun, which is a beautiful place, surrounded by some of the most spectacular cliffs in Europe. What a paradise for all sports people of any sort of sport. Elizabeth Stephen for USA. Good at freestyle. The Americans have made a good impression this year, haven't they?
I think their team spirit, all the other teams are wondering how come that the American team, they've got such a good spirit. They work at it. They're living together. They're making the most of their environment. And that spirit, I think, has made them so successful this season.
Of course, Keegan Randall is the #1 American, and she'll be hoping to move up into second place in the overall standings. It's possible. It's going to be tough to get past Johaug. Ragnhild Hage, not to be confused with Anna Haag, one of Norway's 10 competitors today. It is fantastic how they produce so many top women, and it's a cultural thing as much as anything else, Mike. Such a high percentage of Norwegian women are into sport.
It is. It's from school. They're encouraged out into the great outdoors, and families, schools encourage it. As you say, it's deeply part of their DNA almost.
56th, 48th, 45th. That's the gradual improvement in Donato Tropinin's World Cup positions over the years. Maybe slow progress, but it is progress. All she's got to do is stick around for another 4 or 5, and then maybe she can make the top 10.
Please. Thank you again.
Out on the course once again, and from the 1.2 kilometre stage, most of it is downhill. Remember, 350 odd at the top of the climb, and it's going to be about 2.5 minutes to get back down again. Hug of France, good start from her. Finished 12th in Oslo. That was a good run.
But my calculation, Patrick, this course a little faster than last year. What was the winning time? 6:54 last year, I think.
6:54 from Bjørgen last year, just 6 seconds or so in front of Charlotte Kalla.
So slightly faster, just taking the top off Murder Hill or Killer Hill. It has made a slight difference here, and even into the finish line last year, slightly steeper.
Well, the leading time is going to come down to around 6:27, 28. Maybe even quicker. It is. Good finish from Hug. 6:24, and we just have to wait and see. Maybe that will be the fastest time. I very much doubt it, but there's no doubt that she's going to improve her position in the standings. Now, this is an early starter for Stara. She missed out on the knockout phases of the sprint in Stockholm, but she's one of those gutsy performers, Mike, and I think we could see a reasonable time.
She's a little off the pace. I'm surprised. She loves the hill climbing aspect, and it doesn't come much steeper than this. She's 10 seconds off, Patrick. This is the new section, turning right here. Last year we went straight on, climbing even more.
Stara, 3 wins in her 11-year World Cup career so far. Doesn't look as though she's going to get another one today. Gashina for Russia up to 1.2, and apart from the first 300 meters out of the stadium, it's a fairly brutal climb. 5.8 outside. Now she could make that up, but she's got to accelerate over the top of the hill, and there's a lot of time to be gained from the top of the climb to the start of the descent, and that's where you need to be putting the energy in. Good effort coming in from Stephen. This is a fantastic climb, and if she can keep this work rate going, she's almost certainly going to take the lead when she comes back down into the stadium in 2.5 minutes time.
What a brave strategy, Patrick. She's giving everything. She knows she has to keep it going to this corner, and then there's some recovery time. You can just sense her legs are blasted or shot at this moment.
Yeah, that was a second, 2 seconds thrown away on that one corner alone. You've got to leave something in the leg so you can attack the downhill. Now, Hage.
Yeah, Hage, 2 gold medals at the Under-23 World Championships, and that's why she's here. Of course, this mini tour invites the junior world champions in the men and the women's field. What a talent she is.
8.8. That's a very impressive time. Remember, she's young and has a very rosy future indeed. Born February 91. So what is she, 22 now? the prime for most cross-country skiers, although it used to be very high 20s or early 30s. I think it's probably come down to 25, 26 now.
Yeah, traditionally it was up at the medals at the Olympics. It was always 28 to 31-year-old. But with Johaug and now Haga, well, and Viken as well. Viken showed so much potential, I thought, just before the World Champs in her 4th position in Davos, but didn't come to what was expected at the World Championships.
Yeah, Davos, a 10-kilometre freestyle, and sometimes that skews our opinion somewhat, Mike, because racing at altitude, there are some athletes who just don't do well up at height, and Viken obviously one of those who enjoys it.
She looked good, and but then maybe the expectations going on to the World Championships after that, just a few days later, she seemed to have lost all that form.
Stara of Norway was well off the pace at the top of the climb, and she's going to be at least 15 seconds outside Hug's time of 6:24. 17.5 the margin. Now that makes life pretty hard in the next 2 days for Stara, and I think unlikely that she's going to feature. Remember, she finished 6th in this mini tour last year.
I'd love to see Stara at the Olympics next year, and I mentioned it a number of times, but from 6 individual races at the Olympics, 4 of those 6 times she had the 4th position. I'd love her to medal.
Now Stephen was the one, or Stephen was the one who pushed so hard in the early stages. It'll be interesting to see whether she's managed to keep it going. She's got just under 7 seconds to get across the line. It's a good finish. Hug's time of 6:24. Is it going to survive? I think it might just. It does, but by 0.3 of a second. And USA Stephen with a really good effort at the top of the climb, Mike. The difference was what, 3 or 4 seconds to the Americans' advantage?
It was, yeah, 3.4 seconds. And there's maybe, as we said at the start, you really push hard to the top, but you've got to be technically good on those curves, and you need something in your legs to make the most of the S-bends coming up very soon.
Yeah, such a shame to throw away all that good work with maybe 2 little mistakes. Here we go with Fessel of Germany. 3:42. It's looking good at the moment, but her legs look shot as well. I hope we follow her around the start of the descent. Here we go. 42, I think, will just about survive, or will it? It's a good time, half a second in it to the advantage of the German, and now Nicole Fessel must work harder than she's done at any stage of the climb. The 30-year-old from Oberstdorf looking very, very good at the moment. To Martin Tropanin of Italy across the line. That's good. That's a really good time. 4.6 seconds. She won't finish in the top 3 today, but she may well improve her overall position in this mini tour involving Stockholm and Falun. Celine BRUN-LIE, 6th in the Olympic sprint back in 2010, so she's fairly sharp over the 1 kilometre distance. This looks okay, Mike.
I think this looks very good. I'm trying to get her time at the top of the climb. Well, she was 3rd position, just 1.5 seconds down. So this, to me, looks like she's going to set the new lead time by a decent margin, or is she? I think she is.
14 seconds. Could be 3 or 4 or 5 inside. It's a good run. Excellent stuff. 5.9 the margin. BRUN-LIE taking some 23 seconds from the top of that corner, the last corner that they go round. So we can use that as a guideline for the remainder of the race. She went round in 55.
Stand by 2 points.
Finished in 18. Shikalova of Russia, just a little outside the time set by BRUN-LIE, but if things go as planned, the times should get faster and faster as this race goes on, because the stronger athletes starting at the very back of the field. 4.8 outside for Shikalova, good enough to keep herself in contention.
0. Please. Thank you again.
Back to the top of the climb, and this looks good from Heidi Weng. 3.5 inside. Starting number 21, Mike. Don't forget, Heidi Weng was second in the mini tour last year, so she really does need to inject some pace this time round. A worse sprint in Stockholm than last year. She finished 12th in this Prologue last year, and I think Heidi Weng looks stronger than she was 12 months ago.
Oh, very, very much. I was a little concerned for Weng at the start of today because, to be honest, in the 30-kilometre on Sunday, not that long ago, she was exhausted. She tried to stay with the early pace. It didn't work out for her.
Well, maybe we should discuss, certainly with the men's race coming up, and Cologne and Northug, two men who were out on their feet last weekend in Oslo in the 50-kilometre. How on earth do you get yourself back into shape for the sprints in Stockholm and then a series of 3 races last weekend of the season?
Their endurance, their deep endurance is quite amazing. And for Northug on Wednesday to make those sprint races in Stockholm look so easy, I can't believe in just 4 days how quickly that man can recover. He's quite an amazing athlete.
Well, they get some help as well. Lots of massage, lots of fluids, the best foods that money can buy, and of course, plenty of sleep. And Northug's pretty good at that. Here we go with Keegan Randall, number 31 today. She won the Tour de Ski Prologue. Can she win here in Falun? The distance suits her. We know that. And she's pretty hot when it comes to the freestyle skiing as well. 5 wins so far this season. And of course, that gold medal to take home from the World Championships. I wonder which one of those means the most to her as we watch her teammate Diggins come across the line and challenging for the lead. She's got it. Diggins takes the lead with 6:17.4. It's very, very tight at the front, but that will be valuable points for Diggins.
I think Diggins, Patrick, for me, gave one of the highlights of the season where in the team sprint at the World Champs, she had a ski pole ripped out of her hand and she just carried on, no problem. She said later, well, I used my legs mostly. It didn't bother